Okay, it looks like we're live. Just let me pull up my super fancy Chitoli so I can see if anybody's watching and listening and talking to me. Alrighty. And then, oh yeah, Chitoli, totally free and grass-fed and available here as Meritechna/Chitoli. It's just a simple command line utility that brings up a Swift UI thing that includes a WebKit thing that just loads the chat from the live stream and displays it in a window that's always on top and follows me around my spaces. Oh, hi. So, cool. What is the problem? Well, my problem is this. I have this huge ass terrible little, let me just make this smaller. So, like this. Yes. I have this huge terrible Swift code base, which is basically a wrapper around a C API. And there's currently some bug in there, memory allocation and deallocation related, or memory management related. And I'm debugging this via LLDB and VS Code, and all is well. It's just I hate debugging, at least late at night. I know where the thing crashes, and I have a good idea of why it crashes, but I'm too tired. So I wonder, couldn't like Claude use this? Like just drive LLDB, and by drive LLDB I mean, let's see, spine runtime, spine iOS. Oops. And then we have, what do we have? LLDB, okay, it's the test. LLDB.build debug spine test, and then I should run it. Okay. And then we can follow the instructions Claude gives us. So let's set a breakpoint. And then we can also set a breakpoint here. We just run the thing. Well, and we have a crash. But it looks it didn't stop at the... Did it? It should have stopped in skeleton drawable Swift line 70. Wait. Okay, yeah, now it's fine. Well, as you can see, LLDB would be a nice way for Claude to debug this problem because it's command line based and it knows how to drive LLDB. It's just Claude cannot really run LLDB and drive it. It can start it, but it can't send commands to this. Now the new Claude Code version has the background bash thing where Claude can run a command via bash, put it into the background, and then regularly pull information from it, basically the standard out and standard error streams, and fetch those. Well, but it can send to the standard in of the process that it spawned. And that sucks, because if it could, then it could drive LLDB for me. So let's just see what Claude does if we ask it to do this for us. Hey Claude, could you please try this for me? You can use the bash tool. Oh, looks like Claude went to bed. So it's building the binary again for whatever reason, doesn't matter. And then it should start LLDB eventually. Why is it so slow? And crash. Okay, so it starts LLDB and it actually uses echo to send some standard in data to the LLDB binary, and that works, but it can't actually oh, that's funny. Now it hangs obviously because LLDB has started and it's waiting for more input as it has crashed, and I think that was the timeout of the bash tool. Try my direct approach. And again, it tries by sending LLDB all the commands. Yeah, no, this is terrible. So it basically can't drive LLDB. It can send commands once, but that's it. It can't dynamically modify this on the go. It could put this bash command into the background, but then all it can do is watch the logs, basically, or the standard out and standard error streams as they evolve. But it can never communicate with that bash process anymore. So let's write an MCP server that works similarly to bash. It will just run whatever the thing is you put in here and put it in the background, and then let Claude get the last n numbers from the scroll buffer from the terminal so it can see what the tool is doing, but also send input to the standard in stream of the process that's being spawned here. So let's try that. And for these, we kill this, and we kill that, and we clear, and we CL. And then let's talk to Claude. Hey Claude, I want to build an MCP server using Node.js and TypeScript. The purpose of the MCP server is for any agent to be able to spawn a process, which gets put in the background and which becomes a child process of the MCP server. The processes standard error and standard out streams are being observed by the MCP server and stashed somewhere, maybe in memory, doesn't matter. Then the agent can actually query the outputs. You can say, give me n lines from the bottom of the scroll buffer of that process. And it can also send input events, or rather keystrokes, more or less, to the standard in stream of the process that the MCP server has spawned. So the tools I want that MCP server to have are start, which receives a bash command that the MCP server then starts as a sub process. Then the stop command, which kills that previously started thing. The start command obviously needs to output some kind of ID for that process that got started. And then the LLM is supposed to send that ID to the stop tool. And then we have a, let's call it standard out tool that takes a single optional argument, which is the number of lines from the bottom of the scroll buffer of that process to return. That will output, well, the number of the lines from the bottom of the scroll buffer. And if no number of lines is given, we just return the entire scroll buffer of that process. And then we want to have a standard in call where the LLM can send ANSI sequences, arbitrary ANSI sequences that we then pipe into that process. The standard out and standard in tools both need to take the ID of the process returned by the start tool. Oh my God. There we go. This was a lot of text, so it resorted to that. So, okay, please summarize what I just said and make it sound nice and concise. So we are still in the brainstorming phase. Lots of people are using other LLMs for that, like Gemini or GPT-03 or 4, whatever. I find Opus to be totally adequate for something like that. So, oh no, my God. Please stop working. We are still thinking. Do not create anything until ask, remove, delete the repository you just created or the directory you just created. So let's see. Core features, tools. Spawns a new process from a bash command, returns a unique process ID, terminates a process by its ID, standard out, retrieves process output, and lines from bottom of full buffer, sends ANSI sequences. Okay. All right. We need to go into more detail. So the MCP server should be using the Studio transport. We won't support any other transport. It will be a simple Node.js app that runs locally. High layer Lior, whatever. I can't pronounce names, I'm sorry. And now I fucked up my inputs to Claude. And then I wonder if we should only have a single tool that's called, I don't know what, come up with something that takes JSON objects as arguments. So there's a JSON format for start, a JSON format for stop, a JSON format for standard out, and a JSON format for standard in. Can you show me what that would look like compared to using the separate tools version? Finally, as we spawn a process, we need to pipe its outputs from standard out and standard error into a virtual terminal, and we should use xterm.js for that, the headless version. I have some code in, what was that code? PyMono, let's see, PyMono. Yeah, I figured the autocomplete wouldn't work. Oh, it does, it's just really slow, amazing. PyMono agent, no, TUI test virtual, oh god, PyMono packages, TUI test virtual terminal, yes, perfect, that we could reuse. Okay, so the basic idea is the MCP server, when asked through a tool call, will spawn a process and observe the standard out and standard error streams from that process as new data comes in from there, which is basically the output of the CLI app. We feed it into a virtual terminal. We use xterm.js, which is a library that's very good for this, which is a terminal emulator basically, and that has a headless mode. That means it doesn't need any rendering like HTML or whatever you have. It just creates buffers internally, and you can query those buffers. So yeah, we should use xterm.js for that and the headless version, and I already have some code for that from another project where I have a full implementation of this. It's very easy to use. And then, well, what else do we need? Okay, let's see what it says. So we're still in the planning stage. We want to figure out if this makes sense, and I guess it makes sense. Oh yeah, one more. So as the MCP server spawns multiple processes, we should probably also have something like a list tool that tells the LLM which processes are currently running and what their IDs are and what the command was that spawned the process. Okay. So after this little brainstorming session, we should end up with a readme.md file and a new repository that should have a basic scaffold. And then we could start implementing this. Okay, let's see. Yeah, let's go with the action one. I'm basically using this kind of single tool MCP server format a lot because I found that Claude at least is very capable of using such a tool instead of using a tool that has like 20, MCP server that has like 20 different MCP tools. The definition, command, idea, action. Yeah, it doesn't get confused by this for some reason, at least Claude doesn't. And this minimizes the amount of tools that Claude gets exposed to, which is, from what I experienced, usually better. So let's see, I'd recommend approach server tool because clear intent digital, no, fuck that. Would include transport studio only. Properties action. Command ID lines. No. So I want to go with option 2, and your schema, your input schema is all kinds of wonky. What we need to do is in the description of the tool that we also return, we need to give the LLM examples of the JSON objects it can submit and how they are going to be interpreted, as well as what the output will be like. And for the input schema, I guess we can have just a single property arc, which is required. And we don't really specify what it is. It doesn't matter. It's not like the LLM or the agent is gonna validate that or use that in any kind of way. As long as we show it concrete invocations of the tool, we're gonna be fine. And I would say, let's call the tool terminal and not process control. Oh, it asked me questions I didn't see. Let's see. The architecture would include transport studio only, but output buffering, input handling. Yeah, that sounds good. This using separate tools and external JS for the virtual terminal. Okay, that sounds good. The project's name should be TUICP. That probably doesn't come out right, TUICP. See if there's already a GitHub repository named like that in my account, BadLogic. If it is, delete it and recreate it, and then create a local folder, TUICP. And please scaffold it out using the scaffold found in... Oh my god, this is slow. Jesus, why is it so slow? Regarding linter, TypeScript, Node.js, blah blah, configuration, Husky, and so on. So just basically copy the scaffold you find in there and then modify it for this new project. And finally, write a readme.md that details our plan, so to speak. It should start with a human readable part where we just say TUICP, give a little single sentence description of what the tool is supposed to be, or what it's for, and then describe in more detail what problem it solves, well, in concise detail. And then you can just have a dump of how it works, specifically what kind of arguments the single tool expects. Also, installation instructions, it should be runnable via npx, or by installing it globally via npm. The package name will be... Oh, come on. Oh my god. TUICP. And that is it. Please do the thing. So basically the output of that should be something that, let's see, where are we? Let's close down a bunch of stuff here. We might need this later. So, oh, actually, let's wait for it to finish. Oh my god, it can't find the scaffolding. Oh my god. My man, my dude, this is not good. Wait, Jesus. My man, my dude, that's not good. It created that folder inside a different folder. I want the folder to be in the workspaces folder. Please delete mcp-process-manager, and then if you've already created the GitHub repo, just clone that into the workspaces directory. So I end up with yeah, I guess AGI is not upon us yet. Claude gets super confused with paths all the freaking time. It's very annoying. Oh my god, did it just kill all of my workspaces? No. There we go. Sounds good. So we can probably make this small. The CC History project has a bunch of configuration stuff that I use for all my CLI apps, Node.js CLI apps. So when I create a new project, I just say, look at this other project and copy the scaffold. I have a little app called Create App where I have like a templated project generation thing going. I haven't added this type of project yet, but eventually will. Then this is just a command line invocation. Oh, module common.js? Are we sure? Are we sure we want to have module common.js? Can we just do ESM modules? Or whatever's the newest and latest and greatest? The funny part is that once we have this going, then basically not only Claude Code can have its fancy bash background processes, but any of the CLI agent tools like Codex or OpenCode can do the same, but just attaching that little MCP server to it. I guess that's at least the the hope. Here's next. Why would it, what? Interesting. Hey, Ashit. Oh my god, today is not a good Claude day. It fucks up a lot. So while this is cooking, let's see if does it create a deal for an MCP as a multi-tool all the way? Yes, we'll see how well it works in practice. Whoop, up, up, up. How can we access that workspaces? Where did I put it? PyMono packages TUI test virtual terminal.ts. Let's see what this does. Start, stop, right. Oh yeah, cool. This is actually all we need. So then the only thing we need on top of that is wire it up with the spawn process, and that should be good. I don't use sub agents as defined by Claude Code per se. I just use the old task tool, which internally delegates to sub agents. I usually don't want to define my sub agents statically in an MD file, but I want to define sub agents ad hoc as I work. So sub agents just make me slow. I haven't really found a way to write sub agents that are general enough that it's worth to store them in agent MD files. So no, I'm not using sub agents for my workflows. I do have a bunch of workflows where I have an MD file that is basically a state machine, and where I might tell Claude at some points to use a task with a specific thing. Let's see, to do branch. Can I find it from here? No. My lovely task management hack Claude commands to do branch.md. So this is what I use for task management. I don't have to explain it in detail. You can look. No, actually, I haven't described it anywhere yet, but it's basically a state machine, and Claude is supposed to follow this. So it starts here. It checks if this file exists. If not, it does a thing. And the thing it does here is it's instructed to use parallel task agents to analyze the code base along these verticals. And I have other such state machines in form of prompts where I will actually define the prompt for that task agent or sub agent verbatim here, instead of just this loosey-goosey look into the purpose and features and languages and frameworks. And Claude will then turn around and spawn the task tool with exactly that prompt that I specified here. And that is pretty much equivalent to defining sub-agents in MD files and calling them like that. It's just more ad hoc. And again, while I work directly in the CLI, I usually am in no need for a general code review sub-agent or this and that sub-agent. I'm in need for a sub-agent that finds a specific feature somewhere and finds it also in another place and sees how it's implemented in both places and compares that. And there's really no general sub-agent I can put into an MD file that does this for me. So I usually just define them ad hoc and hope Claude does a good thing, a good job starting them. Okay, please use the bash tool with code and open that folder for me in code. I'm lazy. I could have typed it out, but it's 10 p.m. So there we go. Let's see what it built. I hope it didn't single shot it. Oh, it tried to. Interesting. Yeah, MapReduce, exactly. This was my first thought as well, actually. Let me put you folks down here. And let me put this here. No, actually, let me put this here and put you over here and make you smaller. So now this is good. Yep. And then let's open a new Claude session in here. Investigate the index.ts file. Read it in full. Well, it's just a single file, so then we can close down this old Claude. We no longer need him. Thank you for your service. Okay. Let me just quickly help out Claude here and reorganize the imports. Organize them with biome. Oh my god, this is so bad. Organize biome. So why are you still complaining? Oh, types. Yep. Okay, one more error here. Well, that's not a good description of the tool, but okay. Handle terminal tool calls. Okay, then let's do something I usually do. If Claude generates a bunch of code for me, I need to review it, and I would like to review it with Claude explaining me each and every bit. So let's see. The model manage background process, virtual terminals, the implementation core functionality provides a single terminal tool that accepts JSON commands. Okay. In .claude JSON, you can add mpx tsx to the index.ts file in this folder, please. So to the MCP server section. That way we can quickly debug it. Let's see, Claude. No, not this. Claude.json. Yes. Then there should be a top level. Oh my god, there's so much garbage in here. Yes. Perfect. There's already this in there. So add our little tool. As you can see, I already have other work in progress MCP servers in here that work the same. They just basically studio transport MPC servers. And the command is mpx tsx, and it points at a local TS file, which just works. And it's nice because I can work on these MCP servers, and they will always, once I restart Claude, be up to date. I don't need to publish anything to npm or install anything. I just hack on the code of the MCP server here, restart Claude, and see if it works as I like. Obviously, we could also write tests for this, but honestly, this is so trivial that it's probably better to just learn by doing. Okay, so what does it do? Now I can see the MCP server section is empty for TCP. Yeah, today is not Claude's day. It fucks up a lot. Did it just try to... Why is this file 20,000 or 18,000 lines long? This is just so ridiculous. Please update this. Did it update the correct section? No, it did not. Let's do it manually. So we want this to be TUIs. Oopsie. Then the type is a studio transport MCP server. Command is, now it's getting wonky. So, oh god, I hate Copilot autocompletes, inline completes. So TUIs source index.ts. And then the arguments, oh, that's not the command, I'm stupid. Command is npx, and then the args are tsx. Yep, that's what I want, perfect. And env, we have no env. All right. I suppose this should work. So let's start a new Claude session in here. And then let's see, enter to view details. Failed. Okay. Failed to connect. Okay. So apparently it doesn't work. You can start Claude with this and then you get some debug output, which should probably tell you why it didn't work. So this is the reason. Oh, let's see. I just need to delete this stupid thing that it added here. Oh god, this is so bad. We don't need the MCP servers here. So, okay, we know that the TCP server doesn't work because the import for headless doesn't work. Requested does not provide an export named terminal. This is interesting. Did it import? No. Where is the virtual terminal thing? Can't find it. TCP source index 10. Oh, there, terminal. Interesting. Spawn undated writes to the terminal. Standard error dated writes to the terminal. On exit, it writes process exited with code to the terminal. This is smart because then when the LLM fetches the latest buffer, it will see that. Process set just looks good. Yeah. And then content, text, stringify started. Yeah, we don't need to return a JSON object here. We can just return plain text. But I guess let's keep it as JSON. What does this do? Template which also preferred. Okay, this is just my code review now without Claude. Oh, come on. You can do this quick fix. You really can't? Okay, then let's keep it. Texts. Why would you do this? This is stupid. Let's just do this. Oh, wait a minute. Return. Okay. Fuck it. Let's keep it like that. Standard in, input sent. Well, this is all going to rot our context. Lists. This just stringifies the list. Oh no, actually the MCP protocol requires us to write this garbage out. Well, okay, I guess we have to live with that. What is the request handler requiring from us? Anyways, doesn't matter. We need to fix this issue here. And oh my god, it's all so terrible. Okay. I hit manually. And running Claude with dash dash debug. I get this. We should write a simple test that uses the MCP lib to create a client that runs the MCP server and then talks to it. So that way we don't have to round trip to Claude all the time, because that's super annoying. Oh yeah, regarding that. Oh Jesus, need to add a directory. PyMono packages TUI test virtual terminal.ts. Jesus, that's not what I wanted. I hate this fucking add dir. I'm using YOLO mode, but this is so fucking annoying. You still have to add directories so Claude can actually navigate and read stuff in there. So yeah. Fine, PyMono, and now you don't get autocomplete either, which is amazing. A very good user interface. TUI source. No, it's test virtual terminal.ts. Read in full. This one works and has the proper imports. So, still broken. Still broken. God damn it. Run npm, run check. There's still a terminal related type error. I must be really wonder. External type. Oh, yeah, this is ridiculous. I don't know what the extern.js guys are actually doing with all of this type madness here, but it's not pretty. Okay, let's see if it creates the test file as we need it. But other than the description here, which needs to be more detailed, I think a little more detailed at least, this should actually be all we need. The question is, where is spawn? Spawn. Yeah, that looks fine. Allow proposed API. Yeah, that's another virtual terminal bullshit thing. Oh, cool. Seems to run. So now we can run Claude again with debugging. Ooh, what failed? VS Claude server starting. Oh, that's actually all good. That's one of the funny bits about MCP. Yeah, it's connected. Gute Nacht. Ja, komm her. Yeah, now you know when my wife goes to bed. Let's tell this little piggy. Okay, please commit and push all you have. And then we can tell this little piggy, create a small test.c file that computes the Fibonacci series, or no, that does a FizzBuzz, and then compile it with debug symbols. FizzBuzz, man, my English must really suck. Oh, military request tool scheme. What's going on here? Okay, let's run this without debug. Please, oh, Electron, okay. Please create a test file and implement the FizzBuzz test in it. Then compile it to test with debug symbols using Clang. Type error, type invalid, request error message, tool swifting custom input JSON scheme is invalid, it must match JSON scheme draft. Okay, looks like our MCP server is still broken. Getting this when adding this MCP server to Claude. Can you please ensure that our tool schema is correct? Let's see what happens if we... Can we actually disable? Okay. Well, this is rather annoying. TUIs source index.ts. So let's just disable this little piggy here real quick, and then let's restart Claude. And then, so the problem is when we send a message like this through Claude, it basically creates an Anthropic request to their servers, which includes the tools. And apparently something in our tool definition was wrong. So I'm not sure what, actually, it looked good to me. All right, so if we remove the tool, just confirm that this is the problem. So let's add this in here, and then let's start it again. MCP looks good. Test. I'll help you test the MCP server. No, that's not what I want. Did it write the test C file? No, that's not what I want. I want you to write a file that implements the FizzBuzz test, and then compile it with Clang with the debug symbols to an executable called test. Okay, we can close this again. The reason I'm letting it write this in C is so that we have an executable that we can debug via LLDB. Failed test, linker command failed. Why? This is like the most basic. Oh, probably because it doesn't have a main. Let's see. No, it does have a main. What? Interesting. Right. So, do you think you could use the terminal tool to start this program using LLDB? What the fuck is going on? I'm just checking because this is what? Okay, we need this, we keep this. Then Clang test.c. What's the problem with that? Huh? Is my Clang broken? It doesn't look right. Let's see. Open failed. libclang RT. Okay. I might have to install the Xcode command line tools. I hate everything about Xcode. Oh, what the fuck? Oh yeah, there was a directory called test. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I still blame Xcode. Succeeded, now I can run. Okay. So you have the terminal tool, right? Can you tell me if you think you could debug this program using LLDB with the terminal tool? Tell me how. Let's see. Start the LLDB session. Send debug commands. Use standard in to send debug commands. Read output. What tool calls would you do for the sending of debug commands and reading the output? Looks like it understood. Okay, then let's try that. Do a little debugging session, and I would say set a breakpoint in line 12, and then inspect what I is, tell me what I is, and then continue. Oh, it's called, sorry, it's called testprog.c. We had to rename it, and I already compiled the executable, which is called testprog. Interesting. The breakpoint isn't resolving. Oh, that's good. Let me stop the current LLDB and start again. Perfect. It knows that it has to stop the terminals, probably because Anthropic RL taught it so hard that it should stop with it breakpoint at line 12. Now let's inspect the value of I. Well, and there you go. And it can do this for any kind of TUI now. It could probably potentially also drive other agent CLIs like Gemini or whatever have you. The program printed 1 and stopped at breakpoint again. As successfully. Okay, did you stop it? Okay, cool. Please stop the terminal session and then list any open sessions, and if there's none, we're good. And let's confirm. Actually, let's use ps-aux. No, I suck at this. Claude. MPX. No. Can you use ps-aux to verify that no LLDB sessions are live? Yeah, it's very magic. Fantastic. Let's try something else. Let's try the Gemini CLI, which is another LLM agent, which has a TUI interface. You can just start it with Gemini. Oh, actually, that will probably require manual authentication again. Let's split this little piggy. Gemini. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on. It always wants me to sign in every time I start just stupid shit. So does it ask me again? Wow, I hate this. Be specific for the best results. Yeah, my best results would be if you just worked and didn't ask me to re-authenticate all the fucking time. Let's see. Can you tell me how I can make it so I do not have to re-authenticate every time I start your Gemini CLI? It probably has no fucking clue. First go to install Claude off application default login. This command will open a browser window for you to log into your Google account and your authentication credentials is stored on your machine. You shouldn't have to log in again for this session. Is this true? I don't fucking care. Ah, jeez. Did I? Yeah, I killed the wrong session. Silly me. Okay. Maybe let's not try this. Let's try Quen. Does this work? Hello. Yeah, I haven't set this up right. Open code, maybe? Hello. Jesus fuck. Why is it installing all this bullshit again? I didn't ask for this. Oh god. Okay. Please run OpenCode, which is another agentic CLI, and try to make it generate a test.html file, which uses Free.js to draw a spinning cube. So this one's going to be more challenging because OpenCode is a proper TUI, which means it takes over the scroll buffer entirely. But since we are really just rendering to a scroll buffer ourselves in Xterm.js, it should probably work. Oh, interesting. Did it fuck up? Huh, what the fuck is going on? Interpreting the argument as a directory. You can just run OpenCode like this. That's it. That's the command. What error did you run to when you tried this? No visible output. OpenCode might actually render into the alternative buffer, and we might not have access to that. Yeah, TUI needs a special terminal control sequence and is not producing standard output that the terminal tool can capture. The terminal tool might not be fully compatible with TUI, but use curses or similar libraries to our screen control. This is a limitation. The terminal tool works well with command line programs to produce standard text output like LLDB. Okay, let's fix that. So when we use this MCP server with something like OpenCode or other TUIs that use the alternative buffer, we don't seem to get standard out ANSI sequences. Can we fix this? Can you try the Quen CLI? That seems to work. No visible interface. Same issue. Quen appears to be another TUI application that takes over the terminal screen. Interesting. Can you try Claude? Oh, yeah, Claude is an alias for whatever reason. Claude doesn't be Claude is an alias. That is very strange because it totally fucking should. So what did you do? Test raw output, studio client transport. No, that's not what we want. Also, this shouldn't compile, I think. Extern, spawn, extern, shell is true. Well, I know for a fact that we can get output from Claude, usually. Oh, what the fuck's going on? Oh no, it removes the test files. Okay, doesn't matter. When the TUI application through the MCP server, Claude or other clients can request raw output. Yeah, man, this is totally not what we want. Xterm, so first of all, the standard out and standard error streams from the process should give us output for TUIs like Claude at least. I know that this works because I have another project where this is done. Can you write a test that spawns the MCP server, but does so, oh god, how can we do this? Yeah, okay. That spawns the MCP server and also an MCP client that then starts Claude. Claude is an alias. You need to locate the actual executable first, so you can write the command correctly. Wow, this sucks. I know this works, but the code looks fine too. Let's see. We're gonna manually debug like the caveman we are. Oh no, not VS Code. Claude, not VS Code. Yeah, I hate this fucking thing so much. Maybe if somebody from Anthropic watches this, please stop doing this bullshit. I'm using bypass permissions. I don't want to manually add all the fucking directories on my hard disk just because I'm not focusing on a single directory to work in. This is terrible. Client connect. Yeah, this is broken. Is of type unknown. Well, that's fine. Chip. Okay, let's see if it's usable logic. Yep, this looks fine. Oh, I will have to patch my CC anti-debug patch. I need to patch my Claude so I can run it under the debugger. Is this the correct one? Let's see. We had the path somewhere in here. BedLogic Cloud local node modules. BedLogic Cloud local node modules. Bin Cloud. Yeah, that should be fine. So let's just see if this works. Yep, cool. Now it works on the debugger as well. So dürfen aus Garbage weird raw output looks like. What the fuck? The problem is that Xterm's terminal buffer is interpreting cursor movements and other control sequences, which scrambles the text layout. Indeed, be capturing the raw standard out directly. No. So what we need to do is when we write the standard out and standard error data we get to the Xterm instance, we need to flush. The write commands are async, so I would assume that there could be a race condition. I forgot how all this works. I worked on this for Vibe Tunnel a while ago. Let's see if this gives it a good idea. Yeah, this one. This is bad. Process entry raw output. Data string. Again, look into the virtual-terminal.ts file in the other project. There you can see how we can atomically write to Xterms and how to flush and how to read back the scroll buffer properly. I don't think they're using the alternative buffer. Neither Gemini nor... No, it can't be, because if you start Gemini like these, then, oh my god, how fucking terrible. Google, how can you be so bad? This is not good. So we started Gemini here and we are still in the main buffer and not in the alternative buffer. Oh, this is funny. Yeah. So there's something else is going on. This probably has to do with the fact that all of these TUIs are written with a TUI framework that does a lot of redrawing. And my guess is that we have arrays in here. Whoopsie. Zip. Terminal right. It can either be raw bytes given me from PTY or a string. Raw bytes will always be treated as UTF-8 encoded, string data as UTF-16. Well, maybe we need to use node PTY, but I'd rather not. That's not great. Why did it write this? Line 240 flush terminal. Terminal buffer active. Buffer length. Yeah, this looks good. By debug output tests. Interesting. The simple echo shows the problem clearly. Each line is getting indented more and more in the terminal buffer. This looks like Xterm is interpreting new lines as just removing. Yep, that's exactly the thing. Oh, it has a convert EOL thing that fixed it. Should fix the terminal better. Yeah, I don't think this works. Huh. Okay. Let me also run this fancy pants test and see what we get in the buffer actually. Are we starting it with help? That's not what we want. Where's the Claude output test? Yeah, we're starting it with help. It's not what we want. This will hang now, but I don't care. Yeah, there's nothing in there. What the fuck? Well, but we can now set a breakpoint on this little piggy and this little piggy. Let's see. Yeah, it's not writing any data to standard out. Spawn to studio 1, set anything other than pipe, then this will be null. Oh. Pipe. Let's see. I think that's the default, so it probably doesn't matter. Nope, doesn't matter. Fuck me. Well, that still doesn't give us what we want. If I actually, let's see, maybe Claude exits before anything happens. That's weird. Why am I not getting into this one? Let's see. Time to pull up the big pants guns. Okay, one more time. TSX auto test, and that doesn't. Interesting. Why don't I get a breakpoint here? Because we are spawning the studio client transport here. Where's the transport? Okay, transport connect. Yeah, and that is the sucky part about MCP servers. It's really hard to debug them if you write them like this. If you separate concerns and basically extract the core functionality into something that is actually testable without the transport, then you will have a much nicer time. So let's do this. Okay, debugging this via the MCP transport sucks. Can you please extract the logic into a separate component that we can directly call in our tests, so we can actually debug this nicely, and then rewire index.ts to just use whatever you come up with as the abstraction. Yeah, we might have to use node.pty for this. I'm not quite sure why. Process.standardout should give us all we want, because again, none of these are using the alternative buffer, so they need to write to the process standard out. Yeah, here we go. It stays the same, so who knows? Process manager, buffer raw. Yeah, this looks good. This looks good. This looks good. Yeah, all of this looks fine, except stop send input, get output. Yeah, I guess that's better. And then test process manager, what the fuck is that doing? No. Okay, let's run this. So this looks interesting. Hello world. Process exited and then just empty lines. That makes sense. because it gives us the full screen buffer. So a terminal like this has a viewport, which is the bottom n rows that are visible in your actual terminal emulator. And then it has a scroll buffer, which is all the lines that you can scroll through, including the ones in the viewport. And if we asked xterm.js to give us the scroll buffer for just hello world, then we will have hello world in the first line and then nothing else. And we just get empty lines for the remainder of the lines. So this is good. This looks good. Interactive cat. Okay, Claude version. Yeah, this works. ANSI colors. This works. List processes. This works. Cleanup. Yeah, well, this is good. Let's see. Whoa. I need to modify my microphone setup a little. Let's see how I can do this. Well, I guess this will do. So okay, the basic smoke test actually works. The Claude output tests probably doesn't. Okay. Let's rewrite the Claude output test, please, to use the process manager directly. Meanwhile, we can test if the thing still works. Write a test.c file that implements the fizzbuzz test, and then compile it as a debuggable executable with Clang. Actually call it testproc. Oh no, actually call it fizzbuzz.c. Claude output test. Okay, now use the terminal tool to spawn LLDB and debug this executable. You can just set breakpoints and inspect variables and see if the execution works as you suspect it would. Yep, this still looks good. So at least we didn't break anything by transplanting the logic from the index.ts file to process manager.ts. What's going on up here? Oh my god, it's killing our shit again. Please do not delete these files. Another process is using them. You can commit fizzbuzz.c, but git ignore. Actually, git ignore fizzbuzz.c and testproc. And the other testproc.c files. Test now directly verifies. So did it fix up the output test? Oh, let's see. Yeah, no. Started less with ID. Send queue, quit lines, buffer output line. Yeah, this works. Why the fuck would this not work? Send input Claude, hello Claude. Hey. Interactive. So it runs. Oh, that's just an it just spawns bash with read. And then here we get Claude version. Okay. Yeah. So Claude output test isn't really a Claude output test. The only Claude thing you test is the version command. What I want you to do is to rewrite this to spawn Claude without any arguments that would put it in interactive mode. Then we wait a little bit and get the buffer and output the buffer. And then we enter, I think it's quit. Let's see. What is it? Quit? No, exit. No. Which should kill the process. So after we've ended this, we wait for another second or so and then list all the processes terminal is managing. There shouldn't be any more processes managed by process manager. And meanwhile, this one is debugging. Yeah, single stepping is not gonna be fun like this. But there are ways to teach it to emit output sequences that would do multiple things at one time. So that's fine. Cool. This looks good. The program completed successfully. Let's quickly test it again with fresh debug session, this time setting blah. Did it kill the old one? No, it did not. List all the processes currently ran by and managed by terminal. This is so weird. It should totally freaking work. I don't understand why. I have a separate project where I do pretty much the same thing and that works fine. Okay, kill all the terminal sessions. Actually, let's see. htop, mpx. No, goddammit, F3. No, god. Clicky, mpx, tsx. Interesting. Oh, not starting properly. Let's check if we need to use pseudo-PTY. Let me also try a simpler test first to make sure our setup works. Good, interactive programs work. The issue with Claude might be that it's detecting it's not in a real title. Let's check what Claude actually needs. Yeah, that's it. I'm stupid. Of course it needs a pseudo-PTY. Yeah, that's the problem. We need a pseudo-PTY. I guess we cannot do this with the built-in Node.js stuff, but we need to use node-pty, right? This is gonna be so painful. We had a lot of fun with node-pty. How are we doing on the time box? I don't know when I started this madness. An hour ago. So we better wrap it up. 35, so 1.5 hours ago already. Well, I don't care. How about we only support PTY? We don't need separate code paths. So then the inevitable question is, would have been faster writing this by hand? Maybe. Possibly even. I mean, it did all the scaffolding, which means I would have had to copy over all these things myself manually, but that's like 5 minutes of work. And then it wrote the initial version, which, yeah, I would have probably taken an hour to do this. I don't know. I think I would have been slower. Yeah, pretty sure I would have been. Just telling myself that to... oh, interesting. Just telling myself that so I have a reason to keep paying 200 euros a month to Anthropic, or $200. Yeah, I guess that's one way of using it. I'll publish it once I'm done with this final PTY shenanigans. Perfect. Now we can run Claude. And we're done. So this is basically what the bash tool now does in Claude Code, plus a bunch of other stuff, obviously, which we haven't done here yet. But actually, this is usable now. So I can drive LLDB with this. I can drive Claude with this, apparently. So this is great. It seems like Claude is showing exit in the autocomplete, but not actually executing it. Let me try to select it with tab and enter. Oh, this is funny. MPX, TSX. No, TUIs, all TUIs will now work. Even the ncurses or curses-based ones, or charm, or whatever you have. Actually, we can just try this out, right? It seems Claude accepted exit when we can see them, but didn't exit. Let me check if probably exit when the process is terminated. Let me modify the test. So really, we need to send exit plus enter or new line for Claude to exit. So coming back to your question, I'm probably mispronouncing your name, Micha? Micha? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm really bad at this. So yeah, any terminal application will work. And the LLM, the agent, can then see at most, where is our limit? There. We have a scrollback of 10,000 lines, which is plenty for all the things we need to do. One thing that might not work, or will it, might be the alternative buffer. So terminals have two buffers, the one we see here, and then another one which is just as big as the viewport, where you can switch to as kind of a back buffer or a double buffer and write to that instead of the main buffer. And then you can switch back to the main buffer without destroying all the things that are in it, which is pretty nice. Claude actually uses this for the Control-C stuff. This is the alternative buffer. And if you Control-R again, then you're back in the main buffer, so to speak. So I'm not sure if it works like that. Mitya. Ah, okay, got it. Where are you from, Mitya? Martini sounds like at least a European name. Martini. Maybe Italian? I don't know. You don't have to disclose your location. Don't dox yourself. Ah, cool. Now, Mitya sounds... I honestly can't place it. Mitya. Slovak or Polish or I don't know. Yeah, okay, Claude doesn't exit on exit. We don't care. We can just tell the terminal tool to kill the process, which is fine. Hey, Georgie. Yeah, I tried that. I regularly use that. I will spawn a server in the background and have it output its logs to standard out, and then Claude can just regularly check on those logs and debug things. But this is more fun because this can also send inputs to the process, so we can control the process like we are currently doing. Okay, exit command. Ah, Germany. Huguenots. Russian. Aha. Ah, got it. Well, dann verstehst du wahrscheinlich auch mein gebrochenes Österreichisch. Process not found, blah, blah, blah. Good, the Python process was removed from the map. Now I need to handle this case properly. Well, it's just working through the tests now. We don't really care so much about this. We care about real life work. So, final test. Actually, for the occasion, let's do it with Ghosty, so we don't get too distracted by whatever's going on in Visual Studio Code. And then let's pull up this here and kill this. And then, do you have access to the terminal MCP? I mean, I could just do this, right? I'm so lazy. Yep. Perfect. I want you to start, then send it input. You can just prompt it by sending input via the send input action of the tool and finishing that with a new line, I think, so it gets submitted. So I want you to start Claude and with terminal, and then prompt it to write a 3gs.html file, which is self-contained, which imports 3gs and draws a spinning cube. And then instruct it to open that HTML file with the bash tool and the open command. Let's see. So this should now spawn Claude, then send the prompt. That didn't work. So it appears that Claude apparently crashed. Yep. Then we need to get back here. God damn it, that's annoying. My man, you might have just fucked it up. When we spawn Claude, then it seems to exit immediately. Can you try? In a test, I mean. We really don't care about the /exit stuff. It doesn't matter. Claude is staying running. The issue I introduced was automatically removing processes from the map when they exit. This is actually correct behavior. We should have removed. The Claude doesn't exit with exit command, which is fine. The process manager is running correctly now. Okay. In the last test you wrote, could you please also send inputs to Claude? Something like, and see if it responds after 5 seconds. So Georgie, I'm sorry, I probably mispronounced that as well. Where are you from then? Cloud spawn test. Cloud output buffer length, Cloud shows welcome message. Running true. Yeah, it still works. But to say hello doesn't work apparently. Create CRUD is assuming thing running this working correctly with the PTY interactive mode and can receive input. Yeah, well, it receives the input, but it seems like the new line that we attach doesn't submit. Is there any ANSI sequence that's commonly used in terminals to submit instead of just new line? Maybe, I don't know. If I run Claude myself manually in a terminal, I just press enter and that will submit my prompt. Could you modify the test and see if we can get this running and get a response once we submitted the prompt? So back here, I wonder why this doesn't work. Please use the terminal tool to start Claude, then wait 2 seconds and get the standard out from it and print it. Having a problem with all those fancy pants. Excellent. Claude is responding to all our inputs. The new line works, carriage return works, and character by character input also works. We can see Claude's responses. Whoop. Okay. Please modify the test to not only say got response, but also output the scroll buffer so I can see it as well. Meanwhile, is this Claude still running? Oh, it's Claude. It's an alias. Oh, that's probably why this fucked up previously. I didn't check if it actually found the right Claude. Why is it crapping for Claude? Claude, not Cloud. I wonder why they're using an alias for this. It's very annoying. Well, I mean, it can. That's the whole point of using node-PTY. It can send any kind of inputs now. It already controls Claude. Oopsie. See this little funny test? What this does is it spawns Claude with the process manager here. It sends a prompt and a new line. Say goodbye. Yep, see? Seems to work just fine, I guess. Huh. Actually, I don't think it works. Like when you output the scroll buffers, I don't see the outputs from the LLM. I only see the last scroll buffer, but I'm not even sure if that's a scroll buffer. Oh, no it is. Hello, goodbye. Tell me a joke. Oh, this is... this is the only one that seems to contain answers from the LLM. So which of the methods did we use to submit in this case? Yeah. It doesn't do the right thing here. It says hello, say goodbye, tell me a joke, and only then does it work. Oopsie. So, where's the test? Test Claude. Wow, it wrote so many tests. Which one is this? Claude spawn test. We just keep them in here for prosperity. Tell me a joke, and then it sends input. And what is the input? Trying character. Wow. Why does it send individual chars? Jesus Christ. And then it sends, oh yeah, that's what we need to send, I think. But it does that here as well. Huh. Well, it does work for some values of work. Let's see. Perfect, now I can see the difference clearly. It says, got response, but the buffer only shows the input in the prompt box, not actually all at once. Same as the no actual. Claude input method test. Did this actually succeed? I don't think it did. Test 4 also doesn't work. No LLM. That actually works assigning the input character by character followed by R carriage return. Likely uses line editor needs to see each character as it's typed. This doesn't sound right. I mean, I'm pretty sure the carriage return is what we need, but I'm not sure we need to send each character one by one. I can see in the line editor thing that the previous inputs that we sent in one go actually just work. The only thing is that submission doesn't work if we send the prompt as a single string followed by a \r. Then let's see if more tests. Oh god, it's so bad. No, that can't be true either, because if I manually type into Claude, I can wait for as ever fucking long as I want and then hit enter and it works. Ah, there we go. Still learning. Let me try a different approach. With just bypass flag if available. That's funny. Oh my god, it figured out dangerously skip permissions. But I think it won't get past the trust the files in this folder thing. Oh my god, it worked. That's funny. Night. Well, that is extremely funny. Perfect. Claude is now running in interactive mode. Here's the output. Is it still running? Yeah, it's still running. Okay, please send a prompt to it. I think you need carriage return to confirm and submit it. Ask it to use the open command with the bash tool and open google.com. Yeah, that didn't work. Oh my god, it worked. Oh, this is funny. Oh, for the complete and check again. Perfect. Claude successfully executed the command. Okay, now please tell Claude to write a self-contained.html file that uses Free.js to render a cube that spins. And then it should use open again to open the HTML file in Chrome. This is so funny. Sure. Well, this is fun. Okay. Right. So I think we're pretty much done here. Okay. Please stop Claude and then start. Okay. Yeah, it's funny actually. I'm not sure how useful it is, but it can't be a CLI tool because it's stateful. If you want it to be a CLI tool, you need to write a daemon. And the MCP server via standard transport is spawned once and kept alive, so it is stateful. That's the only reason why that's the only scenario where MCPs are actually useful, if you need a stateful thing. Perfect. Gemini is now writing the output shown. Okay, show the output verbatim and then also tell it to write a HTML file that spins up a Three.js cube and then open it in the browser with the open command through bash. So Mark, just heckling. I know where you live, man. Don't you dare heckle me. I love this. What? Good night? Now it's getting fun, man. Don't do this. Da, 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 da. Well, how's that for sub-agents? We can use anything now. Gemini is asking to write files, and yes, allow once by pressing enter. written a file now asking, man, this is so funny. Holy shit. Yeah, this is the real computer use thing, right? Man, it's all working. Just tell it to modify the file so there's also lighting. The cube is currently a single color. It should add some shading. Yeah, I think this is done. Let me just instruct the other Claude. Alrighty, I ignore that you added a gazillion tests. We can keep them all just for funsies. I now want you to commit all we have. Oh, I see there's an error in a type error in Process Manager. In line 185. Please, please fix that. Oh my god, I good old 4K demos, yeah. Spinning rotate cube. Let me check the output of modification. There we go. Thank you, Gemini, through Claude Code. Oh, this is funny. This is so much better than using an MCP to access Gemini. It's also super flexible because this shit can just go through any permission dialogues. This is great. I love it. Let's see. Just need to document this for the future, right? Alrighty, so let's get back and make this nice. So test 2 sending blah blah does work when using bash c to spawn Claude. This confirms that the issue is not about timing or garbage time, but the key is that we need to send the text and the carriage return as two separate write calls to the PTY. When we send say hello in a single write, it doesn't work, but when you send say hello followed by a separate, it works perfectly. This is likely because Claude's line editor needs to see carriage returns as a distinct input event to trigger submission. Yeah, maybe. Could be. Because if you copy and paste text into this little funny text editing box, you don't want to interpret the R's that could be in there as submissions, right? So this makes sense. Okay, so the first thing before we publish this to npm is we need to check that that this is good. What's it doing here? Yeah, fuck it. All right, we need to clean all of this up. Process-manager TS has a compilation error in line 185. Please fix this. We keep all tests as they are, and then we also need to work on the tool description. And by tool description, I mean the actual description that we sent out from the MCP server in line 26 in index.ts. What we want to have there is real-world examples. You can show it how to run LLDB, how to command Claude Code or Gemini. Yeah, that's what I want you to do. Keep it concise, but still. Also, the raw mode, we don't need the raw mode anymore. We can remove that. Everything works as expected now through Node-PTY. Man, this is so much fun. What else could we control? Oh, actually, which processes are still running? Through terminal, I mean. Let me check which processes are still running through the terminal tool. Only Gemini is still running. Okay, kill that one. Oh my god, I hope no filter triggers now in Claude. Okay, what else could we do? What other TUI application could you think of that we could try to control? Oh, could you try Crush? That's another agentic coding CLI. Oh, not Brush. Crush. Yep, that seems to work. Great, Crush is running and showing its initialization. It's asking whether to initialize the project. The interface shows. Yeah, please select the app. Oh my god, it's already doing stuff. Why? Can you send it the escape key so it doesn't run through my entire workspaces thing? Everything's working. Let me create a commit for all these changes. Okay, let's see how it modified this. Control backward of the virtual terminals. Examples. Start dev server. Start command implementer. Run debugger. Start command. Stop process. Get output. Send command. Break main. List processes. Interactive example. Start in and start out. Third and third high. Yeah, these are still bad. Let's see. Let's just give it the entire session here. Okay, please adapt the. Please modify the tool description. Also update readme WD with these examples. All right. That should get us into TUIs enables AI generator. It runs in headless external serving. Yeah, we need to rewrite this. How it works. Exposes a single MCP tool called terminal as accepts JSON commands. The server uses standards and management backgrounds. His own version of extension. Oh, we should probably also have a CVD here. Hello, Lorenzo. This sounds Italian. I'm pretty sure. Or maybe Switzerland, one of the Italian-speaking parts. Is it updating the README? Yeah, it is. Okay. Send prompt must be 2 separate calls. Yeah, this already... the Claude example won't work because Claude is an alias and we cannot resolve aliases in node.pty. So we need to specify an absolute path. Also the start command should have an optional CWD parameter, so the LLM or the agent can specify the working directory where the process will be started in. Which part of Italy, Lorenzo? North or south? We have friends in Milan, or better, in Gorgonzola. It's a very nice area. How it works. Nice, yeah, very nice. Let's see what else we can do. We already had Gemini. What's it trying now? Good, I forcefully stopped crush process. It was trying to scan your entire workspace, which would have taken a long time with all those files. Yes. What else could we try? Please try OpenCode. Yeah, I'm gonna publish it to npm in once this process here is done. I'm just cleaning things up and making it publishable. Perfect TUI CP MCP server now has better tool description that emphasizes carriage return. Yeah, I think this is good enough. So the send text and enter separately thing is twice in the readme.md. Could you clean up the readme and remove any duplications like that? Then let's just see if this is good. TUI CP. I think we should just call it terminal CP. Yeah, I think terminal CP is better. Could we rename the process project to terminal CP? Please update TUI CP everywhere to terminal CP, and then please rename the GitHub repository. So this queuing thing, right? If I submit this now, this fucking never works. I don't know how you people get it to work, but I can't get it to work. Most of the time it just ignores what I queued up. See? I have this queued up and it doesn't do shit. What the fuck? There we go. Let's read the readme again. This looks good. This orange directly with installation. Well, no, that's not how we install it. Let's find a popular playwright, GitHub, MCP. Let's see how they document the installation instruction. Getting started, standard code works in most tools. Claude code. Okay. We're just gonna copy that, I think, raw. It's a lot. I don't wanna calling up my context now that we are Adam's Studio. Oh my god. Okay, just need this. Does it do the thing? I hope it didn't smoke anything yet. Good. There we go. So what's going on here? Perfect. OpenCode is running and showing its welcome screen. It displays OpenCode as the art logo. Using our Frosting has a built agent available. Yeah, prompt it. Tell it to write a poem. And then show me the scroll buffer, the output from the process verbatim. Well, if the tests don't work with the new name, I would be very sad. Okay, finally, you need to update the installation instructions. Here are the installation instructions from another MCP server. We should adapt that. Oh no. Well. So what's this doing? Oh, here's the complete right to bro and grab my faithful friends. Oh, okay. Now give it the same task you gave to the other two. That is, write an self-contained.html file with FreeJS, spinning cube, open in Chrome with the open command. Well, that was quick. Thanks, OpenCode. That worked well. Share to create a shareable link. Could you run the /share command, please? I want that shareable link. This actually has very nice shading. It even has, yeah, it even has, what's it called? Oh my god, I forgot. Okay, let's see. Nice. Well, that's great. This way I can actually see exactly what's happening. Wow, they have OpenCode has a really nice HTML rendering of the session. I like that. Yeah, this is really super nice. Wow, I should steal this. It even tells you nicely what model and so on. So see, this would be so much better of an interface compared to the terminal interface. But everybody likes TUIs now for whatever fucking reason. But you know what's great in an interface like that? Like if you have an input box here, it just doesn't fuck around. If you have a lot of output that you want to show, you just click on it and it's there. And if you want to collapse it, yeah, just collapse it. On the terminal, no luck. It fucking sucks. This is not a great user interface for this kind of work. Well, okay. Cool. So we have confirmed all of this works. The project is now ready to be pushed to the renamed. Let's fucking go. The Claude output test still has a bug somewhere. Compilation error. Hey, let's fix this ourselves. Rosen needs to be renamed on GitHub first. Here's what you need to do. Oh, this sucks. settings. The dangerous change repository, delete, transfer ownership, disable. Rename. Terminal CP. I know it's enabled. And now rename, please. So, you know that Claude has tools, right? Like I can tell it list all TS files, right? And what it will do is it will just call one of its inbuilt tools called search. And the way to add additional tools to Claude, say for reading your emails or for doing funky stuff, is to write what's called an MCP server. An MCP server is nothing other than a program that Claude knows about where it lives. It can either be an executable on your disk that it spawns as a process, or it could be a HTTP endpoint somewhere that it talks to. It doesn't matter. It's just a program that Claude talks to via a specific protocol, and that protocol is the Model Context Protocol. And what that really is just JSON RCP. That means when Claude then wants to call that MCP tool that you added to it, it just emits JSON as input to the tool, and the tool returns JSON as output. So Claude gets the tool result. So MCP is a way to give additional tools to agents or LLMs like Claude or Claude Desktop or GPT. And the idea of this little funny session here is, my problem is I have completely destroyed my old session. God damn it. Let's see. This should still work. I have a big code base here with a lot of generated Swift, and there is a bug in it. And I need to debug this. And ideally, I don't want to debug this myself. I want Claude to debug this. So instead of me firing up the debugger like here, and then seeing the stack trace and all of that stuff, right? I want Claude to actually run a command line debugger called LLDB that has a terminal interface. Basically, it asks you to enter commands like set breakpoint or continue or step and so on and so forth. And instead of me doing this, I want Claude to be able to spawn that LLDB and then send commands to it, like if I typed with my keyboard. So that's why I built terminal CP, which is an MCP server, which exposes exactly that functionality, spawn a process, get the output it rendered to the terminal, and send it inputs. So Claude or other LLMs can control LLDB or other Claude code instances or whatever. That's what this is for. Let's see. We want to finish this up because I need to go to bed. Boom, we're live. Terminal MCP. So did it update the installation instructions? Cloud code. Let's see if this still works. Index.ts, jump source, and then TUIs. TUIs. Yeah, we need to remove this server. And then let's see what it gave us as a command. MCP add. I don't think this adds it globally, but we'll see. Nope, it added it. I hate this file. This file is terrible garbage. It installed the MCP server only in this directory. So we actually need to remove it. Yeah, debugging is always torture. So now it removed that, and now add, and I think it's S. Invalid scope. User project dynamic. What the fuck is dynamic? Added blah blah blah. So let's see, where did it put it? Yeah, that's the right scope. Terminal CP. So let's start Claude again. Oh, let me just go back here real quick. So we should have an open code. No. Ah, open code process. Okay. Let's see if this actually goes away. If I close Claude, this should kill the MCP server as well. And since OpenCode is a sub-process managed by the MCP server, that should go away as well. And it does not go away. Oh, it did. Cool. Yeah, good. That's exactly how I wanted it to be. All right. So now if I restart this session, we should actually work off of a new published terminal CP. Terminal CP failed. Then let's debug. Oh god, okay, CL debug. npm error not found. Mario Sechner terminal CP not found. Might be that it needs some time to distribute. Mario Sechner, Blork. I wonder why this isn't chronological. Terminal CP, there we go. Oh, it's the installation instruction. No, that sounds good. This is also good. Let's see. Maybe it's distributed now. Yep, there we go. Nope, still not found. Huh. I want to finish this off. Just need to propagate through npm cdn. Oh, maybe we need to clear the npx cache. npx, not mpx. Pretty sure that's it. Come on. Not found. Mario Sechner terminal CP not found. Why? I hate this very much. Oh, wait, I think the issue is the package scope. The package JSON says, but they logged in as bad logic. Let's check. Wait, did you publish it without access public? God damn you. You stupid idiot. MPX. No, I did use public. No, it's publishing with tag relays and public access. Dude, we published through that. This is ridiculous. Because strength of a shows it But chosen church, this is weird. Let's wait a minute and try again. I'll just use the local version for now. No. I don't want to use the local version. Let's see if we still have any TUIs references in here. There are in Claude JSON, which we don't care for. Yep, sounds okay. This seems to work. Yes. Okay. Then let's see if this works now. The following package was not found and will be installed. Cannot find package. Model context protocol SDK. What? What? Did we install that as a dev dependency instead of a proper dependency? Yeah, we did. Ah, you stupid Claude. Yeah. Jeez. What else do we need? No, this should be fine. Yes, please. Thank you. Yeah, that happens a lot. That's why you need to make sure that all the information it needs is actually explicitly in the context. So what I do is usually like this readme.md file for a human. This is probably too much information, but Claude can read this on startup when I work on this project, and it basically describes all the things. For more complex projects like this one, where you can see this is about 300,000 lines of code altogether. For this one, I have a very shallow project description, but it gives Claude enough rope to then look into those directories, those subdirectories, and find the readmes there and the build instructions and the relevant source code and entry points and so on and so forth. Without that, it's hard. But there's a way to generate this. You can just ask Claude, hey, use multiple task agents to analyze this repository and write a project description.md file, including coding standards, architecture, features, commands to build, type check, compile, test, whatever. And then you should get a single file that you can feed Claude every time you start a session for your big project, so it knows its way around. It doesn't have to be super detailed, because that also means you have to keep updating it. It has to have that kind of granularity where it's basically just like a map of your repository, where Claude then can go out and find the information it needs based on that more quickly. Yeah, so finally, I hope we're nearing completion, because it's almost midnight, which means 2.5 hours for this bullshit. I'm not in the right VS Code. There we go. Fixed, published. Okay, let's see. Can we run it like these? Will we get the 0.1? Yeah, this is correct. Then we start it over here again as part of Claude. Oh no. Oh, the package was not found and will be installed. Perfect. Okay, so let me remove the debug flag and then we start up Claude again and say MCP. And now there's our terminal CP, which allows Claude to call any terminal application and interact with it. So let me summarize how this works. The first thing it does is it can call start and give it a current working directory and the command to run. That will spawn a process in the MCP server, and the tool will return immediately with an ID for that process. So once Claude has that ID, it can do 3 things. The first thing is it can read the output of that process. It can send inputs to that process, so it can interact with it, and it can stop the process. And that's basically it. And through that tool, it can spawn multiple processes at the same time. So let's try that again. Demo time, right? Please use the terminal tool to run open code and tell me what you see. Just have to, since I'm using transcription, spell out the command. So I have open code installed, the other terminal, the other terminal agent. And now Claude can actually command that one. Open code command is running, blah, blah, but hasn't produced an internal output. This suggests it might be a GUI application. Likely is code without terminal output. The process started successfully, but doesn't display anything. Oh, why did you stop it? Please run it again and then wait a little bit and then get it standard out. Oh yes, Claude is very much, very better than Gemini. Gemini has gotten better over the past 2 weeks, but I would still only use it for, well, I don't actually use it. I'm happy with Opus for most of the things. Let's see what's happening here. It's currently using Anthropic Claude. Okay, please show me the output of OpenCode verbatim. So it can call a standard out for this process, for the OpenCode process, and that will give it the last 100 lines it outputs to the virtual terminal. And this is also what, see, this is what Claude also sees when it calls this, right? And then it can just interact with that. Okay, tell OpenCode to create a self-contained .html file that uses Free.js to render a cube with some lighting. And then tell it to use the open command with the bash tool or the shell tool or whatever it has to open that HTML file in the browser. Yeah. So what's happening now is that Claude Code calls back into that process and submits a prompt via standard in. As you can see, it sends, this is the prompt, and it sends a carriage return, which will submit the prompt in OpenCode. Now it waits a little bit, and then it will likely pull the latest buffer contents and see what the progress is. There we go. So now Claude used OpenCode's TUI to write a self-contained HTML file with Free.js that does the thing, which is great. So this doesn't only work with OpenCode, this works with any TUI. This also works with LLDB. I don't mind sharing. I use 90% of my usage is Claude code with Opus or Sonnet, depending on the rate limit. And the other 10% is split between O3, GPT-O3. Well, it's actually not called GPT-O3, it's called O3 by OpenAI for planning stuff, and Gemini Pro 2.5 for planning stuff, or not planning, more like getting a second opinion. I usually plan with Claude, and then whatever we came up here, I stuff into O3 and into Gemini and try to get a second opinion. But for agentic coding stuff, I exclusively use Sonnet and Opus, mostly Opus. I have not found the others to be competitive. I have recently started working with open weights models, hosting on cloud GPU instances, and that seems very promising, but I haven't had time to properly evaluate that yet. So anyways, I think we're good. This is a working project. I think I go to sleep now. Thanks for joining. I hope you had fun, and thanks for talking to me so this isn't a lonely night. Have a nice one. Where is my Streamlabs? I can't find my Streamlabs.